So derivatives of trig functions. First I want to talk about, let's look at the red curve, sine. And if I look for zero slopes, the slope of the tangent line would be zero. That would correspond to, in the derivative graph, every zero slope is an x-intercept. Zero slope in f translates to x-intercept for f prime. So here goes here. Now, positive slope in f of x translates to above the x-axis in f prime. Positive slope means above the x-axis. So I'm going to start back here. This is all above. Negative slope is all below. Positive slope, all above. What does this curve look like? Cosine. What that means is the derivative of sine is cosine. Let's do the same thing with the cosine curve. So let's look at the blue line now. Zero slope, zero slope, zero slope. So zero slopes here correspond to this is the derivative graph, x-intercepts. Between this zero slope and this zero slope, it's negative, it's all down, that means it's below. Then between this one and this one, it's positive, so it's all above. See how this is just flipped from the sine curve? The derivative of cosine, negative sine. So, if f of x is sine, the derivative is cosine. If f of x is cosine, the derivative is negative sine. All right, so first, I've got just some extra problems. I just threw them in just for extra practice. The tough part to see is product rule, and I'm going to move this, is product rule and quotient rule with the trig stuff. So if in letter A, y equals x squared times sine of x, x squared is the u, sine is the v. Remember, u times v is u v prime plus v u prime. So dy dx, the derivative, equals u, which is x squared, times the derivative of v, cosine, derivative of sine is cosine, plus v sine times u prime, what's the derivative of x squared? 2x. Final answer. All right, this one starts with u equals cosine x over 1 minus sine of x. So this time I'm going to say du dx equals. This is a quotient. So I'm going to square the bottom. Then I take the bottom times the derivative of the top minus the top cosine times the derivative of the bottom, and the derivative of negative sine is negative cosine. All right, you can't see that very good, so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to distribute this back to simplify this part. Negative sine of x negative sine times negative sine is positive sine squared. Then minus a negative cosine and a negative cosine ends up being a positive cosine squared all over the bottom. All right, now the best thing to do here, sine squared plus cosine squared. You're going to probably want your formula booklet handy. Sine squared plus cosine squared, this always equals 1. I can replace all of this with 1. And I'm just going to put that in the front, so I get 1 minus sine of x over 1 minus sine of x squared. Because you have to be able to simplify. And so the quotient rule isn't terrible, but simplifying this one can be. Because then this 1 minus sine cancels out one of these 1 minus sines. The best final answer to this is 1 over 1 minus sine of x. So kind of yucky. All right. Now, let's look at this one. So this time I have, this one's just a little bit easier. So this time my u is x and my v is sine of x. So I'm going to write it this way because I don't like that they did not put. All right. So we have our u, remember u v prime plus v u prime. So my u is x times the derivative of sine, negative no. Why do I keep doing this? Cosine plus v sine of x times the derivative of u, which is just 1. So this was a little bit easier. All right, letter B. So the 4 is like our coefficient. This is like, there's really just one x here. So this is where I do power, trig, inside. There's only one function. It's all connected to the x. All right, power is the 2. 2 times 4 is 8 cosine to the first of 3x. This is power times the trig, the derivative of cosine, negative sine, and we keep this the same. Here, let me see if I can move this over a little. Times power trig, and the inside, what's the derivative of 3x, is 3. Now, what I would do to simplify this is a constant times this negative times this 8 is negative 24 cosine of 3x sine of 3x. Final answer.